Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Six Rings King Show on a new night, Monday night now, baby. We're really excited, actually, to have Eric McLean on the show here, college football analyst, co-host of The Huddle. Coach, yes! All right!
First touchdown of the year.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a six-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the six-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards of Hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the Six Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Hey,
Look at that. Right on time.
Timing.
Huh?
Man makes an entrance.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. What's going on, fellas? It's good to see you.
How you doing,
Good to
guys?
see you.
Doing all right. Spring practice is back.
Yeah.
Just got started. Got some position battles going on. And, little recruiting is going on, too. They've got some big names coming in this weekend. So, we got something to talk about, Vish, Blue, DJ. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have some decent basketball programs, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. The basketball teams are playing. And the
Still
baseball-
playing.
Baseball's
Yeah.
in the top 25
Yeah,
again.
and baseball just finished winning 10-5, so.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess there's something to talk about.
Was that
today.
5 in a row for the baseball team? 4 or 5 in a row?
Yeah, it's 5 in a row.
5 in a row.
Wow. Okay.
Number 17 in the country, baby.
Yeah,
All
headed,
right.
playing at Wake Forest this weekend. Wake Forest is the top
That's gonna
5
be tough.
team. It's a
Yeah.
big series. Big series.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough, but
Well, Virginia Tech was pretty damn good, and they took care of them.
Yeah.
well,
Things are looking up.
looking up for Miami sports, baby. Big shout out. Yeah, you know what? Excuse me, I'm sorry about that, but let's get started with these basketball teams real quick because by the way, we will be doing for anybody that's on the show yet or come in or the rewatch crew, we will be doing a live kind of like a live broadcast per se of the basketball game on Friday night, the men's basketball game. So make sure you keep it locked. We'll be posting it on our social media. It'll be nice and it'll be cool. Blue, hopefully you can hop on. DJ, I know Vish, you'll be at the game. You'll be in Kansas City.
I will not be hopping on.
You will not be hopping on, and that's fine. Last time you hopped on while you were at a game, we lost. So
That is true. It's in the. I gotta recut this intro. It's all like it's a horror show. Like everything bad. Like let's bring Ponce out there. Eric McLean to say
this is a horror show.
I mean, every clip in there. The least scary part is me waving a knife around. Like we gotta recut that. We got you and Blue at the Middle Tennessee State game. We got me at Kyle Field. We got Eric McLean on there telling us that the team is good.
Yeah,
we got former Miami Hurricanes coach Frank Ponce. Like we got to make some moves on that intro. That's not a good intro.
Tell me
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we should just like put using my jinx powers from the Formula One podcast. Maybe I should just like put Florida Gators in there and stuff because then they'll just stick. They'll get the I have the superpower. I can't elevate things, but like I can bring them down. So
Please don't
Well,
put
maybe
any
we can
Florida
get
Gators.
Destiny Harden to call in. And,
drop
That would
be
dropping
pretty
F-bombs.
awesome.
Dropping
Yeah,
F-bombs.
you can drop all the F-bombs you want on this show, girl. Don't worry about that.
Well, apparently she can on ESPN too. So
I know, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy.
they were like quoting it all over the internet. Like
That was awesome. I love
well,
that.
the whole thing is she was just being honest. They asked her what the coach said to her, so she told them.
Yep. And then she said, "Excuse me, that's okay. You know what? Say it and then apologize later.
But
that's fine."
I was telling Vish and DJ before, you got to credit the announcers. They just as soon as they just went right through that thing like she didn't say anything.
As
Thank
they
God.
should. Honestly, as they should.
Yeah, that was the right thing. That was the
Face
right
up and win the effing game.
thing.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
You're in the heat of the moment. I mean, don't sugarcoat it.
So we mentioned earlier, big win by Canes baseball again today, beating FAU, who they lost to a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, kind of back on track. They are, I think, 15-6 now on the year, so ranked 17th in the country. Pitching is still a question mark, at least
Big
after
time.
the first two, at least after Friday and Saturday, because Friday and
Right.
Saturday it looks like they finally figured out, which we had spoken about it all before, right? Gabe Zeal wasn't your Friday night starter, but he seems to be settling into that Saturday night role. Carson Ligon is obviously the ace there. They're still figuring out what the hell's going on
What do we do there?
with Rosario. We have no idea what the hell is going on.
Is it going to be Torres, you think, this week?
You know what? It might have to be, right? Torres is probably our third best guy right now on the hill. Lecarica, I think, is more of a long.
Well,
relief
they
kind of guy.
started him today, and he gave up 3 home runs in the first inning, so probably not going to be a permanent role.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a starter right now.
Well,
So
and then they've tried Chestnut in the midweek. He struggled a little bit. They actually started Torres, I think, against FIU, and he gave up a bunch of runs in the first inning. Like, they're just.
it's weird, man. It's weird.
And Torres is always lights out of the bullpen. If they start him, he got knocked out.
Since has been throwing really well. He's been pitching really well, but I think
he's much more of a situational reliever at this point.
Absolutely. You've got some of the lefties like Schlesinger pitched today, pitched well too. So we'll see. Next this weekend, Wake
Can you
Forest.
explain? Okay, so wait. Well, I know we're not going to spend the whole time talking about baseball, but I have a question for you. So, because you're obviously a baseball guy, you played college, like you played at a high level. Why is Rosario so easy to hit?
Some guys hitters see the ball better out of their hands, right? It doesn't matter how hard you throw. The whole saying, some of these guys got a heavy ball, right? A heavy fastball. And what that means basically, Blue, DJ, if you guys want to kind of chime in on this also, is the ball gets at you. It gets on top of you a lot quicker because they know how to hide the ball. Coming out of their hand. It's all about arm angles. It's all about mechanics and things of that nature, right? You may have a guy that throws 95 miles an hour, but if you see everything coming out of his hand, you can pick up the spin, you can pick up the release. Your release points, your timing is a lot better than a guy that throws 95 and the ball all of a sudden, boom, and then comes out of nowhere, right? So those are little things, right? With him,
do you think that's probably what's happening? Because I mean, on paper, he should be unhittable, and everyone.
But maybe it's flat, right? The ball's flat.
Well, he's got no movement. I mean, his ball does
that's
not
what I mean
move.
by flat, right? It doesn't move. It's
his
just
ball does not move.
It's just a straight fastball.
Right, and if you look at guys, some of the better pitchers, what they'll do is they could throw their fastball and it could have movement on it, and he just throws this like we were just talking about, he throws a flat ball, and then, even though he throws hard, it's just people could adjust to it a lot easier. I mean, I was watching the World Baseball Classic the last couple of nights, and you could see some of the pitchers that came in there, and their movement was crazy. Even though that they're throwing, I think there was, the kid from Japan, I think they gave him 5 straight fastballs, and not one of them did not move. And hey, listen, that separates a really, really good pitcher from a good pitcher. So.
You see the guys like the old school pitchers, and I'm going to throw one at you from 20 years ago, right? David Gill. He's a guy that threw hard, 92, 93, 94 off the bump, but his ball never was straight, right? It always moved. Alex Santos is another guy, right? Guy threw 94, 95 miles an hour, but the ball just never stayed in the same spot, right?
Yeah.
I'm throwing those guys at you because they were probably one of them, some of the most successful pitchers in Miami in history, right? And then you've got guys that throw a little bit softer, like your JD Arteagas, but they can put it wherever they want, and the ball could go, move. He can manipulate his fastball to move, and that's where you get, that's where you get the guys. I'm not saying none of these guys are Greg Maddux, but that's where you get the Greg Maddux.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest issue. Like, is he a guy? I think he's more of a guy that can come in and be your a stopper. I think he might be
throws hard, throws
hard. So give him 1 inning, give him 2 innings. He can be the hold guy to come in right before Walters, because right now Gallo's not. He's not.
I mean, Gallo cannot.
He's another guy though. Throws 95, 96 miles an hour, but his ball's flat. His ball doesn't move.
I think I would say the difference between people and Gallo is with Rosario, it's just it's like 5 bad pitches and they all get smacked over the wall. Like Gallo has just been
It's up here too.
has been a
with Rosario.
complete disaster. Like I mean, Rosario will strike out 4 batters in a row, then hit one, and the next guy homers, and it's like 2 runs. I'm like, what just happened? You were in total control of this game, and then Gallo's
Well,
not even. Gallo's not. I don't know what happened. To
Yeah,
him.
he's all
not
over
even
the
close.
place. He's the Daniel
He's
Bard
not
right
even
now.
close. We actually put him in against when we were up 21-6 against Virginia Tech on Saturday. Like, all right, pressureless inning, go out there. He gave up 2 home runs.
Yeah.
Like he's
Well,
completely gone. He's completely.
That's not a
gone.
good thing.
No.
But you know what? Here too, when you have a good catcher, and the catcher will move all over in the back, and what he'll do is he'll come inside, he'll go outside. Very rarely is he going to throw one right, a cock shot right down the middle.
Right.
So that's what. And I was always told that if you have a really good catcher, you could throw almost a whole inning of fastballs. You really can, because they can move you outside, they can move you inside.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so you don't have to throw breaking pitches, and sometimes that's to a detriment, especially if you're, like you just said, if you're used to being a fastball pitcher and getting it up there in the 94 range, and then all of a sudden they start asking you to throw sliders and overhand curveballs. You're going to have some things that are going to hang up, and you're going to get crushed.
This is why Andrew Walters is so successful,
Yeah.
right? He throws nothing but fastballs, but it's arm angles. It's where the catcher sets up for him. He hits his spots, and then every once in a while he'll throw you some sort of curveball or some sort of off speed, just to kind of get you looking at something different, right? Your eye level or
Right.
something. But and with him, it's that. But he has a heavy fastball. His fastball moves a little bit, right? Kind of. I don't know if it dips, but it kind of maybe rises a little bit. So he's got some movement. So I just think that with him, he's going to be more successful as a pitcher if he learns more pitches, right? If he knows how to command off-speed pitches, so a slider, a changeup, a sinker, cutter, those kind of things. If he doesn't have that arsenal, he's not gonna be a good pitcher. He's just gonna struggle because all he does is throw hard, but it's flat.
Right.
But I think-
And especially in this day and age, you've got so many people to work with guys like that year round, and it all becomes mechanical. And if you're a mechanic, just like in anything, in any position, but I watch them pitch, and not just Miami, but you see a lot of the teams, even in high school. I mean, you got kids that can bring it up there. I mean, they can get into the 94, 95 range, but they also have movement. And so they'll have, a fastball that moves, plus they have a slider, and they have a change. So if they have that arsenal, they're going to go a long way, especially with the 95-mile-an-hour fastball, because as you just said, you could run that inside on somebody and tie them up. And that's the one thing I was watching last night with Ohtani and some of the other pitchers. What they do is they get the ball up into you so quickly. And if you look, he set up Trout last night. He went inside the first 2 times, then threw him a slider outside, and he was dead. So because he was waiting back, and
all those pitches for Japan were unbelievable.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, they brought their best. We didn't. And
Correct.
that I didn't, you could have loved to have a Scherzer out there or somebody like that, but you didn't. But you know what? Still, it was great baseball. And I remember after Edwin Diaz got hurt, they're never going to have this again. Yeah, they are. Those 4 games outdrew the Marlins for 2 months. So, I mean, so they're going to have it. The revenue is crazy. The interest was crazy. And
I was at the Venezuela game.
I enjoyed
USA
it.
game. I was at that game, and that is aside from the 1997 World Series that I went to when the Marlins played the Indians.
Yeah.
That is the craziest atmosphere I have ever witnessed at a baseball game in my entire life.
My buddy went to the Cuba game, and you imagine that. I mean, you have with all the hostility you have, but you get that in between the lines. And those, I mean, listen, every one of those countries, they have dudes. I mean, and it shows you how important some of these Caribbean countries are to the major leagues. I mean, to have those teams, like you said, Dominican Republic and Venezuela and Cuba and Puerto Rico. I mean, they have guys, and you look at them. Although I find it hard to figure how Lars Nootbaar is Japanese, but
I know that threw me off for a loop big time. Lars Nootbaar.
Me too.
It's funny. Sheena was asking me the other day. She's like, is everybody that's on Team USA American, or do they have like Cuban guys or this and I go, no, they're all American.
Yeah.
All of those guys are American. The only other all the other teams have guys like that, like and I told her, like, look, this guy, Lars Nootbaar, where the hell is that guy Japanese? Like, where the hell is that?
Yeah,
obviously
his
he's
mom.
got his mom, right?
Yeah,
he's got
his
Japanese,
mom.
but like another guy's like Randy Arozarena, who is
He's a beast.
He's Cuban as far as I
beast.
know. He's Cuban as far as I know. Two weeks
playing
ago,
for
he
Mexico,
became,
right?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago he became a Mexican citizen. And he's playing for Team Mexico. This is
Well,
crazy, right?
How when did Jock Peterson become a Jewish guy? I mean,
I just felt bad for
Played for
Freddie
Israel.
Freeman playing in Canada, and like he was like the only good player that they had.
Yeah.
Poor Freddie Freeman.
Somebody asked me.
well, Joey
also
Votto
said-
didn't play,
That's
and there's a
true.
couple of others that didn't
True.
play, and they're Canadians. So.
Yeah.
True.
Well, shout out to Fetterman and Danny Valencia were on the Israeli team.
on the Israeli team too.
Yeah.
They got shellacked.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Good to see
They
Danny
got
Valencia out there.
shellacked, bro.
They actually took Puerto Rico 8-7 in that one game,
oh,
and
yeah?
Italy too. I mean, you look at Italy.
Italy's another team that had a couple guys on that team too. Yeah,
Mike Piazza.
Yeah. Right. I know we digress and we got into the World Baseball Classic, but I guess we had to throw it in there. I mean, baseball's baseball, right? So, but let's kind of get back to real quick. We got to mention these basketball teams, man. The women. Let's start off with the women. Shout out to, first of all, what they did against Oklahoma State, coming down from 17 points down at the half, coming back and winning that game was unreal. And then they go into Indiana. Indiana's playing at home. They're the number 1 seed in the bracket, and Miami, for the most part, right up until the end, was putting a shellacking on them as well. So I mean, really impressive how they hung tough. They missed some free throws, and I told you, Vish, they're gonna lose this game because they missed these free throws. But Destiny Hardy came back and hit that game-winning shot. I was really impressed by the women's team. They've got a shot, huh, Vish? Now they play Villanova, the 4 seed.
Yeah, they're tough.
You know the most about the women's team,
Yeah.
So I got to give it to you on that one.
Yeah, no, they're tough. A lot of depth, and Villanova's the opposite. They have one player who might be the best player in the country. Averages 29 and 9.
Wow.
Shoots 50%, shoots 38% from 3. Whew. She could outscore the Canes by herself because the Canes are not a good offensive team. What happened in that first half against Indiana was an anomaly. They don't score 40 points in a quarter and a half like that. That was just. They were hitting, like we mentioned, Destiny Harden. She's a 27% 3-point shooter, was nailing threes left and right in the first half of that game. And then
but they were also controlling inside.
Right.
Too.
Yeah. And that was the other person I wanted to touch on.
They were getting 2 and 3 second shots. So
yeah. Lola Pendande got injured earlier this year, was wearing a face mask most of the year, never looked comfortable. If you watched her play last year versus this year, there was a noticeable difference. What we got on Monday was last year's Lola Pendande. She went in there, got physical, dominated. Again, Indiana center was one of the best players in the country.
Yeah.
Easily. Big 10 defensive player of the year.
Berger, right?
Berger's the guard.
Oh, Berger was the guard. They had good size. That girl didn't play in their first.
Yeah, no,
game.
they rested her so she'd be fresh to have Lola Pendande kick her ass is what they ended up doing. So. Yeah,
Tap. What's up, Tap?
Tap is
drunk and watching the show. I love it.
All right, well, that's not some way you can get through it.
By the way, I'm sorry, Tap. Please do not forget to hit me up when you get back. It's very important that we talk. All right, go ahead. All
right, well, good thing you had that conversation out in the open. So now you can point to it though when he forgets to and say, "Look, I said it on the show right there. Here's the link."
I did.
So there.
Don't foul Haley Cavender. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Don't let her get open at the end, man. She shot. That was a great thing.
Yeah, but it was because of Pendande that we stayed in the game because we made 2 baskets in the third quarter.
Wow.
And then halfway through the fourth quarter, the only basket we made in the fourth quarter was that Lachey Dwyer 3-point play. It was all Pendande just leaning on them inside, getting the foul line, making her free throws that kept us in the game there.
Right.
And then, made some winning plays at the end. This team is tough. They could have easily quit, like you mentioned, 17 points. And by the way, the way that 17 points happened, a lot of that lead was at buzzers at the end of both quarters. They banked in a 3. They banked in another jumper. Like that's 8 of the 17 points was just fluky. So it's very easy to get down.
I'll tell you what, though, for a team that doesn't score much or doesn't score well, the last 2 games they've done all right, right?
Well, they've had 2 really strong halves and 2 really weak halves.
True.
Like they had 20, I think it was 20 points exactly at the half against Oklahoma State, and then again, I think what they scored like 25 in the second half against Indiana, something around there. So
Indiana's depth started to take hold in the second half.
Yeah, and so I do think. Yeah, and I think one of the things that the Canes kind of struggle with there, which their backup center Kyla Odeker, she's a freshman. She looked like the moment might have gotten a little bit big for her. And then the other big, Lazaria Spearman, first came back she got injured against Syracuse. I thought she was done for the year. Subbed her in for a few minutes. That is you haven't played in like a month and a half, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, go. Lila's in foul trouble. Get in there and go guard one of the best players in the country. You have it on the court. So hopefully, like, she's got her sea legs. But the one thing the Canes do have, they just have a lot of people. They have a lot of guards. They run in addition to Haley Cavender and Hannah Cavender, Arievich, Jalea Williams, Lachey Dwyer. They just have a lot of people that can run at you. And
that's some talent.
That's what they're going to have to do again here, and hopefully overwhelm Villanova. Villanova, like I said, has one player that is going to be the best player on the court at all times, and if they can limit her, they have a shot there. Now, I will say, after that, the other 2 teams in this region, LSU and Utah, are in. I don't know why LSU is a 3 seed. They lost 2 games all year. One was at South Carolina.
Yeah, well, they're not South Carolina.
And one was the 10th. No. South Carolina's in a league of their own.
Way in the league of their own.
Yeah, but LSU lost 2 games the entire year and got a 3 seed. So the 2 and 3 seeds in the Canes bracket are really strong. But they got a puncher's chance against Villanova on Friday.
Yeah,
so I think it's a good matchup for them. I think it's a good matchup for them. All things considered, obviously you're playing.
Where are they playing? Where are they?
Greenville.
Still Greenville.
Okay. Yeah. 2:30 games at 2:30. So.
Okay, all right.
That's Friday, right?
Yep. Friday. So we got the women at 2:30. We got baseball starting up at 6 at Wake Forest, which is at a top 5 team. And the men at 7:15. 7:15. If you go up at 7:45, you're going to miss some of that action. So 7:15. So just starting at like 2:30 on Friday, you just got.
It's gonna be crazy. So the men. So let's talk about the men because. Look, they've been really good all year long. Okay, they keep talking about how undersized they are, but they're so good. They're so gritty. They can score with the best of them in the country. Right, they're one of the top scoring offenses in the country. And man, they just hustle like no other team. Right, they're tough. It's a tough team to play against. Even in down low, you've got Omier. Norchad Omier covering guys that are 6'10", 6'11". And he's just out rebounding these guys. It's impressive what he does down there. Yeah. And they showed it again against a really good Indiana team. Okay, a really good Indiana team. He has 16 rebounds in that game. So talk about second chance points, second chance opportunities for Miami to be able to control that game for a long portion of the game. Obviously, it got interesting a little bit at the end, and then they kind of pulled away again. So. This is a team that we're not talking about a puncher's chance here with Miami, right? We're talking about a legit opportunity for them to get far. Now, they're going to run into a team in Houston that's the number 1 team, number 1 seeded team. I don't know. Are they the overall number 1?
They're overall number 2.
I think
overall number 2.
Wasn't Kansas the overall?
No, it's Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. That's right.
Okay, so Alabama's still in it. Houston, and so those 2 are the
Houston looked terrible in the first half of their last game.
Well, here's the thing. Here's why I like Miami. Houston is another team they're even smaller than Miami, almost, right? They feel the small team too. Now they do the same things. They score really well. They've got some really good players. They've got great guard play, right? Possibly the best guard play in the country, as well. So you're talking about 2 teams that now match up really well. So Miami is not going to necessarily have an advantage in getting out and going quick because Houston does the same thing. They kind of play the same style of ball. Yeah. However, this is a Miami team that can win at any time against anybody, right? They're that
No
good.
doubt.
They're one of the top teams in the
No
country.
doubt.
On any
No
given day, they're the top team in the one of the top teams in the country. So we're talking about Miami Houston matchup Friday night. Give us your take, guys, on what you think is going to happen with this game, because I think this one's going to be exciting as hell, and I don't think there's going to be any, I don't think there's going to be this 12-point, 15-point lead and someone's going to come back. I think they're going to go for both blow for blow in this game.
Yeah. Well, in my estimation, it's going to be all about Isaiah Wong. Which one? If he comes like he played last game, that's because they need him. I mean, I just think that he's such a scoring threat that he opens the game up for everybody else. And then if he's not on, then they could kind of like let him do his thing and then double team some of the other guys. So I think he's really a key to this thing.
Yeah, DJ, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this.
I'm just excited to see this game because I feel like it's going to be one that's physical, and I feel like it's going to be one in which, like you guys just said earlier, rebounding is going to be a key part of this game. I feel like Houston is a team that, although they start off slow, they're the type of team where you don't want to allow second chance points. I think, Miami's going to have to be ready no matter what, and I don't think it's the type of game where they can kind of put it on autopilot in certain stretches. They need to be full force, ready to go at all times. I mean, this is a Houston team that's ranked highly for a reason, and they're going to have to bring their A game. Both teams are going to have to bring their A game on Friday.
Vish, Blue mentioned Isaiah Wong, right? Obviously, he's ACC Player of the Year. He's been on a little bit of a drought, and then he kind of put it on this past game, right? He kind of showed out a little bit, played a little bit better. Got his points, was able to score the bucket in transition, was able to get to the bucket, hit some threes as well. So you're starting to see him kind of, heat up again. Now for me, it's important for Wong to play well, but again, DJ mentioned it as well. For me, it's a Jordan Miller nation. What they can do down low, guarding some of the bigger guys. Although, look, you got Jordan Miller, 6'7", Omier 6'7" on a good day as well. They're guarding guys that are 6'7" and 6'8". So as far as size discrepancy, I don't think you're going to see much there. I think where you're going to see a little bit of an advantage if he's healthy is Wooga Poplar at that small forward position or third guard, however you want to call it, and him being able to get his points, because when he gets hot, I think the Canes are hard to beat. If Wooga Poplar is hot, because that guy, I think he might be the most athletic guy on this team. He is incredible. And so for me, it's about the supporting cast for Isaiah Wong. Can they put together a complete game? Stay out of foul trouble for guys like Omier. That's going to be the deciding factor. If they can put together a complete game, I like Miami to win this game against Houston.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, because this hasn't happened yet in the tournament, is both Nigel Pack and Isaiah Wong need to play well together.
Yeah.
Nigel Pack won the Drake game. Like, he was awesome in that game, and him and Wooga are the only ones that really showed up. And then, he missed some shots against India that he normally makes, but Isaiah Wong scored 27 points. It didn't matter. You're not going to get away with that against Houston. Their defense is really good. You got to when you get open, you got to make those shots. And the reason I called out those two is not just because they're the best scorers on the team, but that's kind of what they do. Like, Wooga, when he scores, that's awesome. It's a plus. He's already defending, taking the best guy on the other team. He's rebounding, he's stuffing the stat sheet. Same thing with Miller and Omier. They add all this other stuff. Like, they fill up their stat line. They've got blocks and steals and rebounds. Wong and Pack, you go straight to the points. They need the points.
Right.
Because they're also not good defenders. So, like, even if Jordan Miller's not playing well, he's defending someone.
Right.
And he's doing stuff on the other end. Same thing with
And he's 6'7", so which helps.
Yeah. So those other three starters are contributing across the board. Pack and Wong are their score points.
Yep.
And so they need to do that. And if they both shoot the ball well, I think the Canes will be fine. That and the other thing you called out, Omier has got to stay out of foul trouble because
Yeah.
The
He's
drop
the only
off.
dude.
Well, not only is he the only dude, it's just like
It's Anthony Walker, right? Really, right? Or AJ Casey.
They went to AJ Casey. That didn't work well. Walker definitely played better. He is the most frustrating player.
Anthony Walker?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Did I mention Wooga is the most athletic? Anthony Walker probably is the most athletic.
Yeah, and if he would just stand in the paint and use his athleticism, he'd be a good player. But he's intent on shooting threes and shooting jumpers, and he loses his man defensively quite a few times. It's just he's a frustrating player. But I think at this point, Coach L went to AJ Casey first against Indiana. It was not good.
No.
It's going to have to be Anthony
But Walker came in and did some good things.
He did some good things. The other thing we did, which kind of not really turned the game around because we were in control, but that kind of stemmed the flow when Omier went out and they started making a move, was Jordan Miller, man. He's just like, I'll take the big guy. Switched him on. He took the big guy, even though he was much more undersized than Casey or Walker. He took one of the best players in the country. And look, the guy still got his because he's one of the best players in the country, but he made him work for it. He was disruptive, and that kind of stemmed the tide and got him through that period where Omier was in foul trouble. But, we got to get something out of the third wheel there in the front court, either Casey or more likely Walker needs, when they're on the court, we just got to keep it even.
Look, for me, and I know I already said what I think is going to have to happen, the supporting cast, but this is a game where Miami's going to have to be successful with all 9 guys that they play, right? Harlan Beverly, Bensley Joseph, when they come in, they've got to have meaningful minutes. They've got to have productive minutes. So Bensley's, Joseph's a little bit better defensively than Pack and Wong. Beverly as well. Beverly, if he can, at least make a couple of those threes like he has in the past, right? He's, from the perimeter, he's a guy that can shoot a little bit. Bensley's kind of an in and out guy, so he can do a little bit of both. He can get in, he can score, drive into the lane. He can get some buckets that way, but he can also shoot the 3-pointer a little bit also. So if those guys can contribute, along with, give Omier a chance to take a couple of breathers with Casey or Walker, whoever it is that Coach L is going to go to there. And they can, they don't need to go in and grab 5 rebounds, block 3 shots, and score 10 points. No, but I think that they need to, again, keep them in check, whoever it is that they're going to be guarding.
It's the whole.
This is a tough team, man. It's
the whole thing.
It's a whole team for them.
It's the thing is, when those guys are on the court, it's exactly what you said. It's if we're sitting there saying, "Man, Walker or Casey, whichever, is killing us out here."
Yeah.
That we got to, because that's what happens. You never really see that with the other guys. You can be like, "Damn, Wong cannot make a shot today," or whatever it is, but that's not the level of implosion we sometimes get with Walker or Casey on the court, where they completely look lost. They're in the wrong place on defense. They're turning it over. They're missing layups. Like, we've seen all that. You can't have that. Because you mentioned Joseph. He's a good defender. He'll get us into even if he's not shooting well, he'll get us into our offense. Beverly he's solid, right? He's not going to kill us. He's not going to do anything spectacular, but you can have him out on the court. He's fine. If he's open, he'll make a shot. He'll defend well. If the lane's open, he'll drive and make finish, and he'll distribute. He's good. Walker, you get this. And we can't have the bottom part of that, right? That's the thing. Like, because that Drake game, he screwed up 3 plays in a row and they went on an 8-0 run. Like, it was all him. He left his guy open up for 3 twice. He shot a 3 himself for some reason. He still only made 2 the entire season, but he keeps jacking them up. and like, that's the type of stuff. It's like, no, it's just play within the offense. Like you say, so athletic, attack the glass, be opportunistic. He can score 10 points and grab 6 boards if he just does that. Instead, he
actually could do that really easily.
Yeah, because it just get around the basket, attack the glass, fill the lane when they're focused on the guards, and catch and finish.
That's it.
Instead, he wants to stand at the 3-point line and shoot. It's so frustrating. It's like, you don't need to do that. Anyway.
7:15 p.m.
Yes, it's going to be a long wait.
It's going to be fun, though, so make sure you guys tune in for that one. It's on CBS, too. So
yes, it is the big one. We got the A-team. Jim Nance and everything. It's all happening, man. I will say, before we wrap this and start talking about football, you talked about how good this team is. Obviously, got a step further last year. When I went to that game in Chicago, I knew we were going to lose. I was like, we've never gotten this far before.
Against Kansas?
Yeah. And I flew to that game. I was traveling, and I changed my flight to go back through Chicago and watch us get killed. And I even though if you recall, we were up at halftime and then they just flipped the switch on us. But I never for a second going to that arena or whatever thought we were going to win. But I was like, we've never been this far, and I want to see it because I'm in my early 40s. I've never seen it before. I might never see it again. Like I might be dead by the next time the Canes get this far. This time I don't
know. They're going to recruit pretty good.
Again, that was my thing at the time. I knew that team last year was not one of the 8 best teams in the country. Yeah. You know, they got some good matchups. Like they got to the Sweet 16 and played a lower seed because they were the 10. They played an 11 seed. Like it all opened up for them. This year, I'm going there expecting to win. Like I think this team is actually so like this is not the same thing as last year where it was like, man, that bracket opened up nicely and we took advantage and then we ran into like a real team that killed us. Like we are the real team this year. And so I think this is a big difference from last year. Like this team can go all the way.
Right. No doubt. And Coach
he doesn't tap. No, he doesn't.
I don't have Instagram or OnlyFans, depending on what your flavor is. So
I listened to Coach L the other night and they were asking him about recruiting, and he says, you know this is going to help. I mean, because everybody now is just like back in the day with football when a lot of visibility. Miami has fun. So you could tell. And Coach L doesn't get too high or low. That's the best thing in the world. Yep. I mean, if they win, great. If they lose, hey, we busted our tail. But that's the guy you want to play for. You don't want some schizo, that's just going to go nuts on you. I mean, Coach L being in his 70s, I mean, has advantages because he's been there, done that. And if you ever notice in his interviews, he's always going, this is great for the kids. This is, I mean, and you don't see that with a lot of the coaches, the younger coaches. They'll say it's great for us. And, but he says, you know what? I'm so happy for the kids. And that's, you can't beat somebody like that. The dude's just a class guy. And, and Blue, you touched on this, the atmosphere he creates. Like there's been a lot of like talk about Miami and NIL, even though it's really only Nigel Pack. But
it's Nigel Pack and the Cavender twins. That's it.
Yeah.
but actually that's a good example as well. The reason it works here is because of the coaches. Like Nigel Pack sacrificed his game. He's not a ball handler. He was a catch and shoot guy, Kansas State. He changed his entire game to fit the team.
100%.
Like the people that are targeted are guys that are going to buy in, or in the Cavender twins case, girls that are going to buy in. Like that's what Destiny Harden said. They asked her, like, what were you thinking when, she's the leader on this team.
Yeah.
And they bring in a couple of celebrities. She's like, I didn't like it until the first pickup game. And I saw how hard they played. I'm like, these are ball players. These are not celebrities. They're like serious ball players.
No doubt.
And Katie Meyer would not have brought them in.
Never.
Without having that. So that's why the NIL has worked here. It's that they're targeting the players that'll fit into the team culture and they're able to integrate them seamlessly. Because there's a lot of players, especially on the women's team, that Carla Urivich started and played most of the games last year. She's getting 5 or 10 minutes off the bench now because the Cavender twins are there. Like she had to accept that role. Jalea Williams, Lachey Dwyer get a lot less playing time they did last year. And
you made a good point, Vish.
But they all fit because that's why you bring and again you bring in players that work hard. Everyone respects that. Nigel Pack, the Cavender twins work their butts off.
Yeah.
So the NIL becomes a sideshow. Who cares?
Yeah.
Look how hard this person's working. They're earning it, right? And that's
right.
And so if you just wave the check around, you'll attract flies.
Yeah.
But are they going to actually put the work in after that? And that's the players that were targeted fit the team construct. It's from the coaches. It's all coming from the coaches.
Well, ever since they got here in June and July of last summer, they have, like Katie Meyer says, first to be there, last to leave. And you said, you can't ask more for that. They're team players. Everybody loves them. They get along with everybody. And that's the whole thing. They try to include all their teammates and, in their, on TikTok with them, and they all like them because, they see they're not prima donnas. They're not somebody, they got 5 million followers. Now it's up to 6, but, they got 6 million followers and they're going to rest on that. No, they bust their tail. And, I watch from time to time their thing on TikTok, and they're up at 5:20 in the morning. They're at school by 7. And, listen, they're taking this thing serious. And their father was so excited. the other night when they won. He hugged them in the stands. And you remember his dad used to play at Nova Southeastern back in the day basketball. And so he knows the grind, and it's couldn't be happy for the team. Katie Meyer has been here a long time, and she's always
great.
been, one of those really, really good motivators. And she's another one. You watch her in the post-game interviews and can't say enough about our kids. And I like that.
Yeah, no, she's obviously, I'm a fan of hers. I think everyone knows that. I think this was not the most obvious time for her to finally break through and make the Sweet 16. There were better opportunities that kind of, like you said, didn't capitalize on. But I think if you keep doing things the right way and keep putting the team in position, eventually you'll upset the number one team. Like, it'll happen. Because, I mean, unfortunately for her, if you look at women's basketball's changed a lot in the last 5 years. The Canes had some great teams 10 years ago and 15 years ago when she was the coach, where you didn't get the home court just for being the higher seed. Like, I remember one year they went to Spokane as the 3 seed and had to play Gonzaga, and they lost a close game on the road in the round of 32. It's like, this is crap.
Yeah, well, it could have been better the other night when they played in front of 14,000.
Yeah, but the difference there is they were the higher seed, but back then they didn't care. Who's going to sell the tickets? Women's game has grown enough where if you're a top 4 seed, you host. They several times were top 4 seeds that went on the road, and some of their better teams, couldn't win that road game in the tournament. So it's just it never lined up. And then on Monday, it all came up.
Make sure you guys tune in on Friday for both games. That'll be fun.
By the way, if you want more hoops coverage, there's like 2 other shows that are on the channel that I did this week. So
yeah, just stay tuned for that.
There's stuff already on the channel. There'll be more. I'll do something from Kansas City too after the game. I got Matt lined up for Saturday if we win. So
cool.
So we'll have something to preview. Hopefully the regional final there.
All right,
football.
Blue.
Pigskin. Hey, before we transition, want to do some prize picking?
Sure. Prize Picks. Let's give them a shout out. It's our sponsor. Why the heck not, right? Make sure you guys go to PrizePicks.com. Sign up. Code word 5 FIVE. They'll match your deposit up to $100. It's pretty simple. You pick anywhere between 2 to 5 players. Choose the over under on their individual categories and go win some money, baby. You can choose from different teams, different leagues, different everything, different positions. You can mix and match as much as you want there, from the NFL to NHL, Major League Baseball, even Formula One, and so on. So you've got so many options. College football, of course, is on there as well. So make sure you check them out. Go to prizepicks.com, type in the word 5 when you log in, when you sign up, and they will match your initial deposit up to $100. Check them out. It's prizepicks.com. Blue, I'm going to start off with you, man. We've got spring football is back in full effect. This started practice yesterday. They're going to have another practice tomorrow. There's some battles going on. Big shout out to Gus. Yes, what's going on? Tap, who's super drunk. He just sent me some really funny photos of him over in Breckenridge. But listen, we've got some battles going on in some positions. And quite frankly, I think that this team is going to be an interesting one to watch down the line, especially at the offensive line position. You've got Francis has finally made his way to the first team at right tackle. We all knew that was coming eventually, but it also tells me that these guys are battling it out, right? Because you still got guys behind them that are fighting for a position. You've got guys that's at the center position, like Ryan Rodriguez, who's finally healthy. Jonathan Dennis, who's battling for that second spot behind Matt Lee, because look, the bottom line is injuries happen. So if something happens, God forbid, you got to have those guys ready. I think I'm excited to hear what's going on with the battle there. Samson Okunlola is doing some good things as the second guy behind. I think it's or the second or third guy, right? Because Jalen Rivers is now playing left tackle, which I think is the right position for him. And then you've got the interior with Javion Cohen, and who's the right guard now? Why am I drawing a blank? Who's the right? It's Jalen Rivers. It's Javion Cohen, Matt Lee. Who's the right guard? Why am I drawing a blank? Because it's Malgora.
Arnez Cooper? Was he?
Yeah, Cooper. Inez Cooper. There you go. Inez Cooper. Jeez, how can I draw a blank? That's the biggest monster on that line. Inez Cooper at right guard, and then you've got and you've got Malgoa over on the right side at right
You got
tackle.
Matthew Lee. Matthew Lee has been playing center, right?
Matt Lee is the center. Right. So, Blue, what do you look? There's battles at linebacker as well. You've got Francisco Malgoa battling it out with Wesley Bassane, Corey Flagg, Keontre Smith. Those are probably your top four right now. Chase Smith is in the mix as soon as he gets healthy. I know he's still rehabbing, but you've got a battle at linebacker, and I think that's going to be the biggest one to watch, aside from another one that we'll mention after. What do you want to see as far as that battle there at the linebacker position? Who do you think ends up edging him out? Okay, let's put it this way. Would you be concerned, right? They brought in Malgoa. They've got Wesley there, right? They've got Wes. You brought in these guys, Popo, and you brought in Bobby Washington as well, who, by the way, a lot of people just don't understand how big he is. He's 6'3", 220.
Oh,
already.
yeah.
Marcellus Pulliam is coming in the
And Malik Bryant.
Bryant. The linebacker core looks like it's going to be a solid one. I know they're young, but it looks like it could develop into a solid one. Would you be surprised if you saw anybody else as a starting linebackers for the spring game if it wasn't Wes and Francisco Malgoa?
No, I think I would say probably your first four guys on the linebacking core would be Francisco Malgoa, Wesley, Keontre Smith, Corey Flagg. I think those would be your first four in, and then you go from there. And I think that's the best we've had since Quarterman and Pinckney.
Yeah.
As far as playmaking ability. I know that, I'm on the Corey Flagg train. So even if he gets in there and is a second teamer, he's going to still get a lot of snaps.
That's one hell of a second teamer, if you ask me.
Yeah, right? A productive, you know what? Okay, he's not going to be an NFL guy, but he's a productive college player. And I fight with these people all the time on all the other shows, and they always, you love that guy. Yeah, but look at the last 2 years. He's a leading tackler on your football team. I don't care if they're terrible or not. Yeah,
he's been productive, and unfortunately, right now, that's what you need on this team is productivity. We'll get back into the position battles, but DJ, I kind of wanted to get your take on this regarding. Look, after spring football, there's going to be a lot of movement in the transfer portal again, right? You get that second wave in May of transfer portal guys that are coming in. You're going to have guys that are going to come in and that are going to leave potentially, right? You're still going to have possibly a few guys that will leave this team as well. Where do you expect Miami to, what positions do you think Miami will address at the transfer portal? Who do you think that they can, who would you imagine that they would go after as far as position-wise?
That's a tough one because with this particular group of players coming in, even though they're young, they do add depth. So I could see maybe tight end, only because there's a lot of unknowns at the position. There is depth there, don't get me wrong, but if there is an experienced tight end who has shown, that he can perform at a high level, I would almost look at bringing another tight end in. Yes, I know there's young guys, but, you want to put that position in a position to develop. You don't want to rush things. And I understand they're very good players and some of them can play right away, but I've talked about this before. With good programs, you want to make sure that your position is set up for success year after year after year, and that you feel comfortable rotating players in and out at certain points in the game if need be. So I would say maybe tight end just until the younger guys get up to speed.
Yeah. Vish, are you comfortable with the running back room right now? Because I think that they might want to add another guy, a veteran guy, kind of like what Lucius Stanley was here, right? Last year, he came in, he was productive in his role. I think that, there's some other positions that Miami's going to look to address also. Tight end's a tricky one to me. I kind of lean with you, DJ, because we lost Khalil Brantley also recently, right? Arroyo is still coming back from an injury, so Cam McCormick. Cam McCormick, I love. I think he's solid. I think he's going to be
Jaleel Skinner
They got
really, we haven't
Skinner,
really taken the
but then
Raptors.
they got Jackson Carver, who's still young.
Yeah,
There's
young,
just a
but
lot of
he's raw.
unknowns. There's just a lot of
Yeah.
unknowns. That's my thing.
I agree. I don't know if I feel like maybe they might go after just for depth purposes.
Yeah.
But Vish, going back to the running back position, right? I think the running back position is key, and I think also the still I don't think they're done at the offensive line either.
Yeah, for running backs, I think it's actually a parallel of tight ends, which is, I mean, how much are we going to be using? How many running backs are we going to use? How many tight ends? Or this is not going to be.
Yeah, this ain't that system.
This is this. So if we're not going to have a lot of carries to spread around, I think we're probably okay at running back because, in addition to Parrish, knock on wood if Chaney's healthy, and then you still have Citizen coming back, and then the freshman coming in as well. Like there's where are the carries coming from? If you go to the portal and grab a veteran, he's going to get the rock. You don't do that to sit on the bench. So if it's someone like Lucius Stanley, which is I think a preferred walk on or whatever you end up being, that's different. If you're like this guy's solid, he's willing to come to Miami to not take a scholarship and just add to the room, understanding he might not play. Because I don't think Lucius.
I think that's what they would go after.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes this safe pair of hands if we need.
4 guys get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. like at this point, there should be a contingency if Chaney gets hurt. Let's just be real there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Citizen was the first time Chaney. Like if he gets injured, no one's gonna be like, I can't believe that guy got hurt. So if it's someone like that, yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I don't think getting someone that's like gonna need carries
like
to come
established,
in.
right?
Yeah, because I don't think Stanley ever expected to play as much as he did. So.
No.
So, someone that's like, yeah, I want to be around the program. I'll work hard in practice. And, if I get carries, I get carries. If not, I'm still going to work hard in practice and, be the best practice squad player I can be or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Get a veteran like that. Sure. I think that makes sense. But I don't know about getting another. I mean, we're not going to get someone better than Parrish and Chaney anyway. Right. So not at this stage.
It's more for depth purposes.
Yeah. So something like that makes sense. I think the same thing goes for tight end. If you just need bodies there that, okay, maybe. Because especially Skinner's kind of.
We got Mammarelli as well, right? Mammarelli's
that's true. Yeah. So I mean, I think at tight end, similarly, if you can get someone that's maybe one of the bigger, more blocking guys, that might supplement what's in the room right now. Because these freshmen, I mean, some of them look jacked, to be honest.
Yeah,
but they're freshmen. So are they going to really stamp the physicality of playing 12 games if we're going to need them to do a lot of blocking, right? Elijah Arroyo, like he says, coming back off injury. Jaleel Skinner is definitely an undersized tight end. He actually might end up flanking out as a receiver more times than not in this system. So, I think there is room for maybe a blocking tight end there. Again, a guy that's willing to come in here, do the dirty work, understand you might not catch a pass this year. We might not throw the ball to you, right? You're going to come in there and hit someone. That's going to be your role. And if, you can find someone like that, sure, I think it makes sense as well.
And the guys that you mentioned, Vish, too, Arroyo doesn't really have that much experience. He was out. He was hurt. Obviously, even Cam McCormick has been around 200 years, but he doesn't have that much,
he's
experience.
been hurt a lot of those years.
Yeah. And then, you don't have
that's how you stick around that long. You keep getting your medical red shirts.
For real.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that you have some really good looking guys, but they don't have any game playing experience. I mean, as much as you would need. I think receiver, especially in this offense.
Yeah, I think they go grab another receiver.
Yeah, they got to get a marquee guy.
I think like you exactly a marquee guy, a guy that's going to line up outside and just outrun everybody. Just take like a Gary Bryant, right? Gary Bryant Jr.
Yeah,
that kind of guy. They don't need any more speed. I don't think they need any speedy inside.
You don't need slot
guys.
You got
Ray Joseph, and you got X, and you got some of these other guys that can come.
You got Brashard Smith.
You got Brashard Smith.
To me,
you're fine there.
I'm not. I mean, listen. I know they're good guys, and they're potentially good, but Jacoby George and Frank Ladson and Colby Young. I don't know. Isaiah Horton, Michael Redding.
Here's the thing: this system, Blue, is gonna. It's made for players to kind of shine, right? To come out. So I think you're gonna see those guys. Obviously,
you got to catch the ball, Jazz.
Yeah. Well, I think Colby Young can catch the ball pretty well. I think Jacoby George is good too when he's not, when he's not hurt and when he's not doing something dumb. So
they need to get him off the returns. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to see a guy like Ray back there returning,
or maybe Chris Johnson.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah. I think you make a good point, Blue. I think the wide receiver position is a position that they try to
Yeah.
adjust a little bit more. To
They
get a
need
guy
the
like
dude.
that.
They got a
need a
bunch of
dude,
guys, but they need that guy. I
Yeah,
think.
the guy that's just going to take the top. And there's guys out there like Gary Bryant, like I mentioned
Oh, yeah.
earlier.
And I think, oh, go ahead, Jess.
No, go ahead. DJ.
And I think when you look at the tight end position, it's not just going to be a big lumbering tight end anymore. Guys like Carver and things like that, they move like wide receivers. I'm not saying they're going to be as fast or, as shifty or as quick or whatever, but they can, make things happen after the catch. So I don't think they're necessarily going to be just the big lumbering targets in the red zone. I do envision, the tight end position playing some sort of a bigger role than, just have it being left as a blocking position and the wide receivers only.
Here's another thing I want to mention, right? They have picked up, and I know it sounds funny and comical when you first think about it, but I think that they are going after a different type of preferred walk-on because a couple of guys that they've gotten recently have been some really, really good potential talent as preferred walk-ons. Blue, you can probably talk to me a little bit more about the what is it, the Pruna twins, the Pruna brothers.
Oh yeah, from
the
Idaho.
Luna,
Yeah,
the Luna
I had an
brothers.
opportunity. Yeah, I had an opportunity to watch
How
plenty of
good are
film on
those
them.
guys?
And I mean, obviously their schedule wasn't, over the top, but Idaho has Bishop Kelly and Bora High School out of Boise, and those schools that produce kids, and they send them into the Pac-12 all the time. Yeah, they're really good-looking kids. I mean, they're good size. I mean, you could tell that they run. They're athletic. They can play multiple positions. Yeah, they're going to come in, and they're, I think they're going to rattle some chains. I mean, because of the fact that they've got a high confidence level. I talked to somebody the other day, in fact, that has watched them a couple of times. He's a recruiting guy out of the state of Washington. Had an opportunity to watch them, and I think those are the type of guys that you really get surprised by. And you can see Miami wouldn't even bring them in if they didn't think that they could, that they could make a contribution. I think they can. I mean, they're, the whole thing is, isn't it ironic that they're coming 2,500 miles, 2,600 miles when they got all those really decent programs like Washington State and Oregon, within a couple of hours of where they live. Yeah, I think there are going to be some dudes that are going to come in here and want to prove something. You have to get used to the weather first.
Yeah.
That takes a whole lot of adjustment. That's what Cam said the other day. I saw him in an interview, and he said, "What's been the toughest part?" He goes, "The humidity." He said, "But you'll get used to it. And so."
Idaho is, sneaky good for high school talent too. They have one of the top prospects in the 2024 class, a wide receiver, Gatlin Bear. So
yeah.
Idaho is not exactly a hotbed for talent, so to speak, but there are some good players in that state, and it's
right.
And it's an under-recruited state that maybe Miami should take a look at in the future. I don't know if anybody wants to go that far to Idaho, but there are prospects out there worth looking at.
I think we're probably okay.
They got the Luna brothers.
Outside of Boise, I don't think that you want to go. I mean, to Snake River High School or anything.
No.
But
there are a few
they
here.
got the Luna brothers, and those two are special.
Yeah.
Like you said, Blue. They could probably play at a Pac-12 school and
easily.
Yeah,
they're good sized kids, and also the kid Steepleton that they got from Cardinal Gibbons.
That's another wide receiver.
Is really an athletic kid. I mean, this is a kid that played quarterback for 3 years, and then they switched him to receiver. He's a tough kid. He's got some speed, great hands. He's mentally a tough kid. And, I watch him catch balls all the time. I don't think I saw him drop any balls. And that's the winner chicken dinner for Miami. And I got a bunch of good looking kids, but how many kids are going to hold on to the ball? And that's the key. I think that in this offense, things are going to be coming quick, and you got to be able to, handle it or step aside. And yeah, I think that's why Mario brought somebody like Dawson in here, because this guy he'll either you keep up or you're on the bench. And and who's to criticize anybody? The way Miami's offense was last year was horrible. And so anybody that comes in here,
baseball team scored more points than them, scored more runs this past weekend in one game than they averaged the whole year. So,
yeah.
I know I had to do it.
And the defense giving up all those, 40 points 7 times.
This was that painful to you, man?
Man, I mean, I'm trying. When the family is fighting, I'm like, are you criticizing football or complimenting?
I know. Right?
I mean, they did put up 3 touchdowns last weekend against Virginia
Tech.
So
They did,
which is more than the football team did against. So it's just,
I know it's hard. I know.
We're so high right now, man, with basketball and baseball. Then you got to bring up last year's offense. It's just like, it's the Price is Right loser sound going in my head.
Kind of slap some reality.
Everything is going so well. It's like, well, but actually, the football.
No,
still.
You're right.
Blue, before we go, any names that we should keep an eye out for on Miami's front as far as who they're looking at? I know David Stone is coming in for a visit.
Yes, that's a big get too.
Big time,
huge. He's our number. I think he could be the number 1 player in Florida this year.
Yeah, he might be, and he might be the number 1 player on our list too. Because considering our defensive tackle position. Is not very deep right now. So I think that's another one in the transfer portal that they're probably going to go after. Someone in the transfer portal from defense.
He and Malago are pretty close.
Yeah, so that's big, right? He's an IMG guy. They've got that other linebacker, Samoan kid. I can't remember his name.
Good one.
Ila something, whatever. That kid's a stud too. So he might be down here on a visit, and some other guys. Are there any names that maybe down here locally that we should watch out for with Miami? Recruiting's kind of slow right now. Well, it's slow in the sense that not a lot of commits, but I'm sure there's a lot going on.
Well, they'll end up with Josiah Trader, I think. Maybe not Jeremiah Smith, but you can't. I think Jeremiah was scared off on the fact that just the way Miami played last year, and
I think there's still a shot if he's.
Oh yeah.
If this offense can go.
Man, I'm scared off by the way Miami played last year, so I can't blame the kid.
I don't blame him.
And you're back, so
Mitch is not going anywhere ever.
I mean, I've gone this far. You can't turn around now.
Jesus, anybody could go to Albany to support that team. God bless you.
I mean, I had to do it. I had a lot of bad basketball teams.
Albany's not terrible though. I mean, it's like Florida State. It's like Tallahassee.
By day 3, I gotta get out of this place.
Right. Which is just like Tallahassee, right?
Yeah,
it is like Tallahassee.
I was there too long. This Kansas City might be like 1 day and then back if we lose. So, but
you missed the big snow by a couple of days.
Yeah, no, I did. It was still on the ground, but they had cleaned it up. So.
I'll be in Kansas City. I remember at end of July. So,
no, that ain't gonna help you this weekend.
It's not gonna help, but I guess look,
Vish is a lucky guy going to Kansas City. Great barbecue, man.
I'm landing Thursday. I'm leaving tomorrow night, like late. Like the flight leaves here at like 8. I'm landing there. I'm working from there all day Friday. Going to this game. If we lose, I'm getting the hell out of there on the first flight on Saturday. So I might not have barbecue or anything.
Damn,
you gotta have some, man. You gotta.
I mean, I got
barbecue everywhere.
You got them in the airport. They got Bryant's in the airport.
So if we win, I got Saturday to like explore Kansas City. If we lose, I'm not going to be in the mood for. I'm going to be in the mood to get the hell out of there as soon as possible. My whole mood.
They play on Sunday again, right?
If they win, they play on Sunday again. In which case, I'll fly back Monday. So, so that's what my plane ticket right now is actually during the show on Monday. So we have to look at that if they win. But
well, let's hope you don't.
Yeah. But if
let's
they
hope you miss the month.
Yeah. But if they lose, then I'm not. There's no I'm staying.
I agree on that one.
Getting out. Man, they still haven't. At least for me, I don't know if this is all airlines, but like they have not changed the whole during COVID they let you change flights without charging you a fee.
Right.
I'm still able to do this.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
No, it's fine. I did it last week. I had a 5:15 a.m. flight on Monday because they don't give you the game times. Right. And I was like, look, the first games are at noon. As long as it's not like the 9 o'clock game. And of course, 8:40 p.m. I'm like, well, forget this.
Oh, man.
Now, think about this. Kansas City's like New York City compared to Albany. So at least you get maybe more flights.
No. Actually, there's a lot of flights from Albany to D.C. because they're capitals.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the New York State people lobby in. That's why there was a 5 a.m. flight because they fly in, go do whatever. I'm not going to speculate on what they're doing on Capitol Hill, and then fly home that night. And
Yeah, that's
So
great.
there's like late night flights and early morning flights to Albany.
Nice. All right, fellas, make sure you check us out every Monday night typically, right? I know we're on Wednesday right now, but follow us on Twitter as well at Six Rings Canes, and check us all out. Blue's got his show on 560 WQAM, so make sure you check that out, especially when I'm on or something like that.
Yeah. Next Friday.
Keep it locked here Monday nights at 8 p.m. on the 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel. Also, Friday night, we will have a special broadcast for college basketball here on the 5 Reasons Sports too. I will send out the link so everybody can follow with us.
Yeah,
it's a special broadcast. You'll be able to watch the show and comment and talk to myself, Ethan Skolnick, DJ Blue. If you guys hop on, go ahead and hop on as well. We'll have some commentary for you on the game as well.
Yeah, if you guys have been following the Heat at all, we've done a couple of watch along. Well, not us, but like the Heat coverage. They've done a couple of watch alongs. Same thing here.
Nice.
And something we're gonna also do.
Yeah, Blue. I'll send you the link so you can hop on if you want.
Yeah, it's something we're gonna do during football season too. Obviously, I won't be on this time because I'll be at the game, but
we will do for sure. Away games we will be on. For road games, for home games
during the game.
During the game.
Yeah. So basically, you watch the game. We all
comment on stuff.
Yeah, it's like we're all in like small boxes, like talking about the game, and then the game is actually playing too. So everyone can kind of watch along with us.
It's very cool.
I would suggest that they keep sharp objects away from you, Vish. During those.
Okay, so for the basketball, like I had a choice. Jazz knows this, and I was like, you know what? I'm not getting a credential because I can't sit still and be professional. Yeah. So instead, I sat in the crowd with fans and yelled "Wooga" 400 times and annoyed everyone around me. But I have to be the most annoying person to sit next to because I'm yelling out all their nicknames and like there's not that many Miami fans there. Although the person sitting in front of me recognized me, so that was
wow.
Nice. Look at you, famous Vish. Watch out now.
Recognized me at the end of the game. It was odd because he never. Well, that arena. All right, I'm not. It was not the best. So we're kind of like jammed in there, and he was sitting like right in front of me. So he knew I was a Miami fan because again, I'm obnoxious, and not the normal Miami obnoxious way where I'm like talking crap. I'm just like overly supportive of our team. Right. So it's like a different kind of obnoxious. And he kept he kept sticking his hand on fist bumping me. Then when we won, this is against Drake, he turned around to like high five me and he goes, "Vish," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, yeah, maybe he's watching. Yeah.
Nice. Shout out to Albany guy.
He did tell me his name and I forgot it, so I feel bad. But anyway,
oh man, he could be watching right now.
Yeah, well, he definitely. He follows me on Twitter. If he follows me on Twitter, so he can definitely, if he wants to shoot me a tweet, I will do.
Lowered, Blue.
Oh, I did not. I absolutely did not drink during those games. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I'm too nervous. I will tell you this.
Too nervous, man. Too nervous.
I spent Friday and Saturday night texting with OJ McDuffie, who happened to have been at the NCAA wrestling to see his Penn State. Yeah, he kept. I couldn't believe that he was there. He says, I love the sport." I says, "Yeah, when your team wins by 75
That's right.
points."
Well, Penn State has a national champion, a really good guy at 174. That's a stud.
They've had a few of them.
Yeah, he's a 2-time national champion so far.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Real good
really
guy.
Good
but the highlight was the kid from Iowa got stuck, and he had won 3 straight national titles, and he hadn't been taken down all year.
He got
and
pinned?
his mom was in the stands.
His
broke
mom
her glasses.
Had a complete meltdown.
Yeah, complete meltdown.
And he got pinned.
Saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Who pinned him?
Kid from Purdue who got beat in the finals, but
Wow.
And the thing was the kid was winning 7-5 with like 25 seconds. So the kid from Purdue went for broke, and he got him on his back and stuck him.
Wow, that's
the whole place was there. Oh, this is the biggest upset in the history of wrestling. There's one of them.
Yeah,
his mom was definitely surprised.
Yeah. Well, she was an alternate for the USA Olympic team for judo.
Wow.
So don't mess with mom.
Yeah, no, mom's probably gonna kick his ass when he gets home. Anyways.
Yeah. All right.
What a show, man. What a show. We started with
show.
baseball, went through all the basketball, the football, ended with Iowa wrestling. I mean,
Yeah.
you cannot beat
Penn
this.
State wrestling. Penn State.
Well, we kind of went.
Oh, yeah.
We went through Penn State, so yeah. So you can't beat this. I mean, where else are you gonna get this kind of content?
We'll have to
man.
tag OJ McDuffie and let him listen to this.
There you go. We'll see you guys next Monday.
All right.
Stay tuned. And actually,
Go Canes.
hopefully we'll see you on Friday too. Go Canes. Let's do it.
The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Kane Show. You know.